solicited assistance from the IMF.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to PSMNEWS in English. I'm Utma Mahmoud, your host for the day. President Dr. PSMNEWS states that the principles guiding democracy in the Maldives should be rooted in Islamic values. In his message on the occasion of the International Democracy Day, President PSMNEWS asserted that for democracy to be effective and truly representative of the Maldivian people, it must align with Islam, respect societal norms, and reflect the customs and values of the nation. He outlined a vision where democratic practices are not only about empowering the people, but also about ensuring that these practices resonate with the Islamic teachings that form the core of Maldivian identity. President PSMNEWS's statements on International Democracy Day offer a glimpse into his vision of a governance system that upholds religious values while embracing democratic ideals. He has on many occasions underscored the government's aspiration to further the principles of Islam within the democratic framework. He expressed a desire to uphold the law in a manner that honors Islamic values and to promote a deeper understanding of the virtues of Islam among the populace. Democracy is a system that derives its power from the people and extends this power throughout the government. This has been a cornerstone of Maldivian governance for the past 16 years. During this period, the Maldives has seen significant advancements and progress, reflecting the positive impact of democratic governance on the nation's development. India expresses its readiness to extend financial assistance to the Maldives, according to a recent statement from an Indian official. This support could be pivotal as the Maldives navigates its current economic challenges. Indian media reports indicate that the Maldives may access up to $400 million through the Reserve Bank of India's currency swap program. Additionally, the Maldives could tap into an $800 million line of credit established in 2019, although specific details on this funding have not yet been disclosed by the Indian government. Despite facing significant financial hurdles, President Dr. PSMNEWS and his administration are proactively seeking external support. The Maldives Ministry of Finance has been working diligently to secure financial aid from allied nations and international financial institutions while fostering strong relationships with investors to bolster the country's economic stability. The President's office has disclosed that President PSMNEWS is expected to visit India soon. Indian media report says that the trip will see discussions on financial assistance as a key agenda item. The planned visit underscores the Maldives' commitment to strengthening bilateral ties with India. Both nations are working to enhance their cooperative relationship with a focus on economic collaboration and mutual support. In June 2024, President PSMNEWS traveled to India at the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to attend the swearing-in ceremony of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers of the Government of India. As the Maldives continues to navigate its financial landscape, the prospective assistance from India could provide significant relief and support the country's ongoing efforts to stabilize and grow its economy. Minister of Foreign Affairs Musa Zamir affirms that the current economic challenges facing the Maldives are temporary and do not necessitate assistance from the International Monetary Fund (IMF). Speaking to the media during his visit to Sri Lanka, Mr. Zamir expressed confidence in the resilience of the Maldivian economy. Accompanied by the Minister of Finance, Dr. Muhammad Shafiq, Zamir is in Sri Lanka to engage with banks and officials as part of a broader diplomatic and economic outreach. The Foreign Minister emphasized that the economic situation, characterized by a temporary decline in reserves, is manageable without external financial intervention. Zamir stated that he does not believe it is time to start working with the IMF and noted that the country is facing a temporary problem related to a decline in reserves. He underscored that international partners continue to prioritize support for the Maldives, reflecting a positive outlook despite current challenges. Minister Zamir outlined the government's strategy to address the economic situation, which includes implementing reforms in the tax regime and cost-cutting measures for government-owned enterprises. He also highlighted the strengthening of bilateral relations with China and India, noting that these countries have been instrumental in supporting the Maldives. Recent data shows an improvement in the Maldives' financial reserves. Usable reserves increased to $61 million in August, up from $45 million in July, a 36% rise. This growth is part of the government's ongoing efforts to stabilize and enhance the country's economic standing. Overall, the Maldivian government remains optimistic about managing the current economic situation without external assistance, focusing instead on internal reforms and international partnerships to foster stability and growth. Minister of Economic Development and Trade Mohammad Saeed has committed to advancing opportunities for small and medium enterprises, SMEs in Addo City. This pledge came during a recent meeting with local businessmen, where Saeed discussed strategies to address their challenges and foster business growth. The meeting, held with the objective of identifying key obstacles and potential solutions for Addo City's entrepreneurs, centered on enhancing business development and expediting governmental projects in the area. According to the Ministry of Economic Development, the session provided valuable insights into the government's plans for Addo City and highlighted the significant contributions of local businesses to the Maldivian economy. Minister Saeed emphasized the vital role that Addo City's entrepreneurs play in the national economy and reassured them of his commitment to supporting their endeavors. He outlined the government's strategy to complete ongoing projects in the city promptly, aiming to maximize the benefits for the local populace. During the discussion, the minister acknowledged the diverse range of businesses operating in Addo City and pledged to implement crucial measures to increase opportunities for SMEs. This includes examining and amending existing laws to better facilitate business growth and remove impediments. Accompanying Minister Saeed at the meeting was Ibrahim Zia Mohammed, the Managing Director of the Business Center Corporation. Both the Economic Ministry and the Business Center Corporation are collaborating to enhance the role of SMEs in the Maldivian economy, reflecting a broader commitment to economic development. The proactive stance taken by Minister Saeed underscores the government's dedication to nurturing the entrepreneurial spirit in Addo City and ensuring a conducive environment for business success. Maldives and the United Nations Population Fund (UNFPA) have held productive discussions aiming to strengthen the mutual relations. The Minister of Family and Social Development, Dr. Aishat Shiham, participated in the discussions during her official visit to Indonesia, which took place from September 11th to 13th. During her visit, Ms. Dr. Aishat Shiham held comprehensive discussions with UNFPA's Asia-Pacific Region Director, Mr. Pio Smith. The discussion focused on exploring opportunities for joint collaboration and avenues of mutual interest. The minister also expressed sincere appreciation for the support provided by the UNFPA. Minister Dr. Aishat Shiham undertook the visit to Indonesia to participate in the high-level panel discussion on reframing aging at the 2024 Asia-Pacific Regional Conference on Population Aging. Speaking at the meeting, the minister shed light on the changes in the demographics of the Maldives and its impact on sustainable development. The dialogue underscored the Maldives' commitment to transforming the challenges of an aging population into opportunities for inclusive growth and long-term resilience. On the sidelines of the conference, she met with the Executive Secretary of Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, ESCAP, Armida Salcia, to discuss areas of mutual collaboration. Furthermore, Minister Dr. Aishat Shiham visited an elderly care facility of Indonesia, LLT Girang Melingi. The facility organizes monthly active aging activities for seniors and supports the creation and sale of traditional handicrafts made by local older adults. The President of the Elections Commission of the Maldives, ECM, Fuad Taufik, states that Maldives is making progress in its democratic journey. He made the remarks during the public forum held by political science students of the Maldives National University, MNU, on the occasion of the International Democracy Day. Speaking at the event, Fuad reflected on the historical trajectory of democracy, noting its introduction approximately 2,500 years ago. He observed that while many countries have embraced democratic systems over the centuries, the continuity of democracy has often been inconsistent. Despite these historical challenges, Fuad praised the Maldives for its advancements in democratic governance in recent times. Highlighting the nation's political evolution, Fuad traced the Maldives' journey from its early republican phase to a period of monarchy and finally to its current democratic status. He underscored the significance of the transition to the Second Republic and the landmark adoption of the new constitution in 2008, which guaranteed numerous rights and freedoms to Maldivian citizens. International Democracy Day is celebrated annually on September 15. This year's theme for the International Day of Democracy is Artificial Intelligence as a Tool for Good Governance, with a focus on ensuring effective governance of AI at all levels, including internationally, to harness its benefits while mitigating its risks. Island Aviation is seeking general cargo sales agents, GSAs, to help launch Maldivian flights to China. The national airline, Maldivian, is expanding its network and looking for agents to advertise and promote the Maldives, while also coordinating marketing activities with local stakeholders. The GSA agreement will be in place for 3 years, and interested parties are encouraged to submit their expressions of interests, EOI, by the September 19. Island Aviation is adding a wide-body Airbus A330-200 to its fleet. The state-of-the-art aircraft, featuring business class, premium economy and economy class seating, will accommodate a total of 264 passengers. The aircraft will facilitate direct flights to various international destinations, with its first routes launching to China in the first quarter of 2025. Currently, Maldivian Airlines operates international flights to Dhaka in Bangladesh, Trivandrum, Cochin and Bangalore in India, and Colombo in Sri Lanka. Maldives Inland Revenue Authority (MIRA) has reported that the government has collected a total of $4.7 million as Zakat al-Mal so far this year. This is a notable 9.8% increase compared to $4.5 million collected last year. The statistics showed that majority of the Zakat al-Mal was collected in July, a total of $1 million. Zakat al-Mal is a part of the wealth and property that Muslims must pay annually to help the poor of the community. Zakat is levied on specific assets only identified by Islamic law as assets having the potential for growth. Any person who meets the minimum amount of wealth, nisab, must pay their share of Zakat al-Mal. The current nisab for Zakat al-Mal is $607 as set by the Ministry of Islamic Affairs. The value of gold and silver is considered in determining the nisab for zakat. Therefore, the nisab changes due to alterations in the price of gold and silver in the world market. The latest modification to the nisab was brought by the ministry in May. MIRA has been collecting Zakat al-Mal since 2016, while the Ministry of Islamic Affairs continues to collect Zakat al-Fitr. Talks between Boeing and striking U.S. factory workers are due to resume early next week under a federal mediator, the government said after workers voted overwhelmingly to reject an earlier proposal from the embattled aviation giant. Thousands of Boeing factory workers in the United States walked off the job Friday over the pay dispute, its first strike in 16 years. Union leaders called for the strike to start shortly after hourly workers in the Seattle region in the Pacific Northwest spurned the tentative contract with 94.6% of the vote and to strike with 96%. The strike shuttered two major planned assembly plants for the 737 MAX and 777 in the Puget Sound region and sidelines some 33,000 workers for delaying the financially stressed company's turnaround efforts. Thursday's vote was a decisive rejection of a deal line workers said was far less generous than deposited by Boeing's executives, marking the latest show of defiance by unions following earlier major strikes in the auto and entertainment industries. Boeing, led by new CEO Kelly Ortberg, had hoped a 25% wage hike over 4 years and a commitment to invest in the Puget Sound region would be enough. But rank-and-file workers described it as a slap in the face after more than a decade of nearly stringent wages. Late on Friday, the Federal Mediation and Conciliation Services FMCS said it had been in contact with both parties and supported their return to the negotiating table. IFMCS statement said that as part of the effort to resolve the current labor dispute and end the work stoppage, the parties will resume meetings early next week. Workers had sought a 40% wage hike, and strikes have said the 25% figure is inflated because the new deal also eliminates an annual company bonus. Myanmar's junta chief makes a request for foreign aid to cope with deadly floods that have displaced hundreds of thousands of people who have already endured 3 years of war. Floods and landslides have killed almost 300 people in Myanmar, Vietnam, Laos, and Thailand in the wake of Typhoon Yagi, which dumped a colossal deluge of rain when it hit the region last weekend. In Myanmar, more than 235,000 people have been forced from their homes by floods, the junta said on Friday, piling further misery on the country where war has raged since the military seized power in 2021. In Taungu, around an hour south of the capital Naypyidaw, residents paddled makeshift rafts on floodwaters. Rescuers drove a speedboat through the waters, lifting sagging electricity lines and broken tree branches with a long pole. The rains in the wake of Typhoon Yagi sent people across Southeast Asia fleeing by any means necessary, including by elephant in Myanmar and jet ski in Thailand. Myanmar's military has previously blocked or frustrated humanitarian assistance from abroad. Last year, it suspended travel authorizations for aid groups trying to reach around 1 million victims of powerful cyclone Mocha that hit the west of the country. At the time, the United Nations slammed that decision as unfathomable. After Cyclone Nargis killed at least 138,000 people in Myanmar in 2008, the then junta accused of blocking emergency aid and initially refusing to grant access to humanitarian workers and supplies. The junta gave a death toll on Friday of 33, while earlier in the day the country's fire department said rescuers had recovered 36 bodies. A military spokesperson said it had lost contact with some areas of the country and was investigating reports that dozens had been buried in landslides in a gold mining area in central Mandela region. Cristiano Ronaldo will hope to add an Asian Champions League crown to his long list of achievements when the continent's top club competition kicks off on Monday.
The former Real Madrid and Manchester United forward saw his first attempt with the Saudi side Al Nassr end in the quarter-finals. Now rebranded as the Asian Champions League Elite, Al Nassr and the other teams from Saudi Arabia will be a major threat after spending vast sums of money in the last 2 years on the likes of Ronaldo and Neymar. England forward Ivan Toney was the latest big name to swap Europe for Saudi when he left Brentford for Al Ahly last month for more than $45 million. As part of the revamp to the competition, Saudi Arabia, which is expected to host the 2034 World Cup, will stage a mini knockout tournament in the final stages to decide the overall winner. The champions will take home at least $12 million. Al Nassr, Al Ahly and Neymar's Al Hilal will all be involved when the Champions League Elite launches on Monday with a new format that splits 24 teams evenly into 2 groups of East and West. The top 8 teams from each zone then advance to a knockout round of 16 to be played in March over 2 legs before the action moves to Saudi from the quarter-finals onwards. Saudi champions Al Hilal are looking to win a record-extending 5th Asian title, but they're still waiting for the return of the Brazilian ace Neymar, who has been sidelined since suffering a serious knee injury last year. The 39-year-old Ronaldo, a 5-time Ballon d'Or winner and multiple European Champions League winner, recently scored the 900th goal of his career when he netted for Portugal. For all the Saudi star power, the defending champions come from the United Arab Emirates UAE. Al Ain beat Al Nassr on penalties in the last 8 and Argentine great Hernan Crespo coached them to victory in the final against Japan's Yokohama F. Marinos over 2 legs.
Apple gets a green light from US regulators to add a feature that would let upcoming AirPods Pro earpieces be used as hearing aids, potentially disrupting that market. Earlier this week, the company added AirPods Pro 2 to its lineup, touting a pending software upgrade that will let people test their hearing and then get assisted listening for everyday life as well as streaming online. The US Food and Drug Administration FDA on Thursday authorized the hearing aid feature for the devices, noting that a study showed users found them as beneficial as professionally fitted ones. Apple's software advances the availability, accessibility, and acceptability of hearing support for adults with perceived mild to moderate hearing loss. AirPods Pro 2 are priced at $249, considerably lower than the average price of clinical-grade hearing aids, but those interested will need to adopt Apple's devices. Along with the new feature, the AirPods Pro 2 used with iPhones or iPads will be able to test hearing and create a user's hearing profile stored privately in an Apple Health app. The test takes about 5 minutes, with users tapping an iPhone or iPad screen when they hear tones at various volumes and frequencies. The results are then used to calibrate the hearing aid. That profile is also automatically applied to music, movies, games, and phone calls across their devices without needing to adjust any settings. Typical hearing aids don't adapt specifically for streamed content or phone calls. Apple said that research indicates more than 1 billion people worldwide live with mild to moderate hearing loss. The iPhone maker plans to make the features available in more than 100 countries in the coming months, pending authorization from relevant health authorities. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant day ahead. Bye-bye.